Christie got booed out of the room. He literally should have walked off the stage. That, I've been watching debates for a long time. I've never seen anyone booed like that. Asa, I call him Ada Hutchinson. He shouldn't even be there. He's wasting room.
Wow, that was former President Trump commenting, blasting on Wednesday night's first GOP primary debate with our very own Greg Kelly. All of the 8 candidates on stage are vying for second place right now as Trump remains way ahead in the polls. Here with us now is spokeswoman for Make America Great Again, Inc., former assistant press secretary under Trump, and Newsmax contributor Caroline Levitt. And also with us is the president of Accuracy in Media, Dan Gillette. And I also want to welcome our awesome special guest this week, my dear friend and the great host of Wise Guys, John Tabacco. So thrilled all of you guys are with us. Caroline, let's start with you. You believe Trump actually won the debate. Why?
Well, he took over the night, even though he wasn't on the stage, because this was basically an audition of second-tier candidates performing to win a position in Donald Trump's second term. Meanwhile, President Trump was having a fantastic long policy discussion with Tucker Carlson that had over 100 million views in the first 24 hours, while the views for Fox News and the RNC debate were not as good as they have been in past years. The first post-debate poll was also just released, and it didn't change the race at all. President Trump still has a dominant 40-point lead over the rest of the field. All of those candidates could have had the best night of their lives, and it wouldn't have made up the difference. They are running for second place, as you said, Rita. And then the next day, right, the real story broke, and that is that the former president of the United States, the leading frontrunner in this race, Donald Trump, was arrested by a far-left district attorney, Fani Willis, in Fulton County, Georgia, forced to take a mugshot like a criminal in an American city where real criminals are allowed to run free. That is the real debate in this country right now, is are we going to turn into a banana republic, or are we going to fight for our constitutional republic that our founding fathers built more than 200 years ago? And if we want to win that fight, we have to stand and unite around Donald Trump. So frankly, at the end of the day, this debate was irrelevant to this political discussion today. Donald Trump is the only hope for this great nation.
Caroline, when the raising of the hands, and there was this fascinating moment, too, where DeSantis kind of looked around. He wasn't really sure if he should raise his hand or not. John Tabacco, your take.
Well, look, I saw that moment. Once again, he was caught in an awkward place. He had to look around. Are they saying it? What should I do? My two takes, Rita, are Chris Christie got him one good jab when he said, I don't want to listen to Chat GPT. It was kind of quippy, kind of cute. But this Ramaswamy love affair is not doing it for me. I had him on Wise Guys. I just think he's too perfect. He's a farmer, bro. He's a private equity guy. He got the Soros scholarship. And he was on the World Economic Forum Young Leaders list. So to me, somebody wants him to rise. But the one thing I see for sure that I'll end it on is Chris Christie is falling fast.
Very interesting. You just heard Adam John's take that maybe there's something more to the story with Vivek. He did kind of shoot out of nowhere. He was, of course, a woke guy, wrote the woke book, but there's some interesting stuff there. Adam, also, I want to get your take on this. This is MSNBC Joe Scarborough's comments right after the debate. Take a look.
The fact that they would raise their hand and say that they would support a presidential candidate who's convicted of stealing nuclear secrets tells you, once again, so much more than you need to know about how low the Republican Party has fallen in 2023.
What do you make of those comments? Of course, it's not like he's been convicted. John and I were both just shaking our heads at that. Your reaction, Adam?
Well, listen, it's MSNBC. They're not going for a broad audience. They'll never have a broad audience. They're going for a narrow sliver of far-left viewers who would never watch the debate, who would never listen to what people had to say. And instead, they simply tell their audience what they want to hear. Had these candidates had D's next to their name, we would have heard about the amazing entrepreneurial story of a second-generation immigrant in Vivek. We would have heard the stories of minorities achieving with Tim Scott and Nikki Haley. Instead, we hear the same same old leftist talking points to the same old leftist viewers. It's predictable and boring.
Caroline, did you find it boring? I will say I didn't find it boring because they were kind of going at each other, as we talked about, sort of vying for that second post. You could see that it was sort of make or break, I think, for many of them. Do you think they were also competing for positions in the cabinet? Do you think a lot of them know they're not going to make it to the next debate, which is in September, and the bar's a lot higher? They only had to have 1% criteria in the polls. That's not a high bar in a couple of the national polls. They need 3% for the next one, Caroline.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I do think that you heard a lot of the same, a lot of copy and pasting from President Trump's Agenda 47 plans. A lot of people say he's not focused on the future. He's the only candidate in this race that has put forth robust policy proposals. And then a lot of the candidates on that stage, especially Ron DeSantis, who is completely controlled by his consultants and the billionaires that are backing him, trying to buy this election and take it away from Donald Trump. But you heard them literally plagiarizing those plans on the border, for the economy, for our domestic energy industry, all things that Donald Trump has already accomplished before. And then again, things that he's already put forward with his Agenda 47 plan. But I will say what I found interesting about this debate is that it really shows how Donald Trump has transformed the Republican Party forever. A lot of the candidates are trying to perceive themselves as an America First Republican, whereas pre-2016, they would have never done that. They would have been the old establishment Republican of Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney. And so Donald Trump really has transformed the future of the party. The base, the Republican voter wants the future of the GOP to be an American First movement led by Donald Trump, not the old establishment GOP that Asa Hutchinson and Chris Christie and the rest of them want to bring us back into.
John, your thoughts real quick.
Well, look, Chris Christie's going around being all cool, saying, oh, all these guys are auditioning to be vice president. I'm not. Of course he's not. He got passed over for attorney general. He certainly got passed over for vice president. So he knows darn well he'll never be president or vice president. So ironic that he would take that as a knock because and Joe Scarborough was also looking to be vice president at one point, too. So they're probably both mad at Trump.
There's something in common there. All right, guys, thank you all so much.